Thee, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Please be seated. As we've all learned just today, the terrible murder of our Vancouver friend, classmate, student, member of our community, Ben Mizrachi. We've asked some of him for blessing. Their feelings and emotions are very raw right now, and so I ask you to be gentle with them as we remember Ben. If we could ask Ben's friends to join us up here now, please.
We are Maytar and Rachel, and we are speaking on behalf of our King David class of 2018. Some of Ben's very close friends are not in Vancouver today. We will be their voice. Our friend Ben Mizrachi was attending the Re'im Music Festival for Peace. We learned this morning that he was murdered in the Hamas terrorist attack. We met Ben 10 years ago in grade 8 at King David High School. Ben was one of the most genuine people we have ever known. A true mensch. He was generous with his time, with his friendliness, with his help. He was adored by everyone and known to students much younger and older than he was. Everybody knew and loved Ben Mizrachi. Ben was a role model to his 3 younger siblings and valued his close and loving relationship with his family. Our friend Eduardo remembers that Ben was his first friend when he moved to Vancouver from Mexico City. That Ben welcomed him, befriended him, and taught him how to speak English. He told us that Ben was much more than a friend. He was my brother. Ben had the type of personality that will cheer you up and make you smile. He had such a huge heart, and you knew you could always count on Ben.
Ben was always extremely proud of his Jewish identity and of being an Israeli citizen. He loved to share his love of Judaism, and he often invited friends to join him and his family for Shabbat services and meals. As a teammate of Ben, we played on multiple sports teams together, and he proudly wore his kippah at every game. In grade 12, Ben was the president of our NCSY chapter. He was involved in student council. He led weekly prayer services at our school. After high school, he was proud to join the IDF as a lone soldier. He was so proud to be a soldier in the army and to continue living in Israel after his service. Our teacher, Irit Uzan, has asked us to share these words. Ben always stood out from the crowd. His happy disposition was infectious. He lit up a room with his positive energy and amazing sense of humor. When things got hard for the students, but it was what he did beyond his studies that always impressed me. He reached out and offered a helping hand wherever it was needed, be it with a peer, a teacher, a staff member, or his own family. He wasn't asked, he just always knew what to do. Ben's visits to school to catch me up on his life events were visits I always looked forward to. On his last visit, he seemed more eager than usual, and I learned this was because he wanted me to know that he decided to study engineering in Israel. He was so proud of this.
In school, Ben was always the first one dancing at any assembly and the last one cleaning up at the end, even when he cooked. And he loved to cook. Our friend Yael has known Ben since she was 5 years old. She remembers that they would attend synagogue at Beit Midrash every Shabbat. Ben was always found helping her father in the kitchen, preparing kiddush, and setting up the food. His kindness extended to every part of his life from such a young age. We all remember that if we ever had a gathering on Saturday, we knew the party wouldn't really start until after Shabbat, when Ben would arrive. He was always the life of the party. This past weekend, that's what he was doing. He was at a party with his friends. He was doing nothing wrong. We understand that during the attack, Ben stayed back with a wounded friend, keeping himself in danger to care for another. He used the training that he learned from his time as a medic with the IDF to tend to wounded people at the festival before he died. That is who Ben was. He was a true hero.
Ben, we are so proud of you, and we will always miss you. Please pray for Ben's family, for all the families who have lost their loved ones, as well as those wounded. Keep believing in the state of Israel, and continue to be proud of our Judaism, like Ben always was. Zichrono livracha, Baruch Dayan Ha'emet. May Ben's memory be a blessing.
Good evening. We'll now call on Rabbi Goodbye to join us for the El Malay Rachamim. Please rise. Please rise. El Malay Rachamim שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה על כפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים טהורים וגיבורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, את נשמת בן מנשה בן יצחק ודקלה, השם ינקום דמו. ואת כל הנשמות שנהרגו ונשחטו על קידוש השם, בידי המרצחים המחבלים יימח שמם בזכרם. לכן בעל הרחמים יסירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיות נשמתם, אדוני הוא נחלתם, בגן עדן תהא מנוחתם, ינוחו בשלום ומשכבם, יעבדו לגואלם קץ ימין, ונאמר אמן. Thank you, Rabbi. Good evening. My name is Ezra Shankin, and I'm the CEO of the Jewish Federation.
My name is Karen James, and I am chair of the local partnership council for the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs, Pacific Region. We would like to acknowledge that we are gathered here in the city of Vancouver, which is located within the shared, unceded, ancestral territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations.
When we first heard the shocking news of the Hamas attacks, we knew that it was only a matter of time before each of us was personally connected to this tragedy. We want to express our deep condolences to the Mizrachi family and to everyone here who's lost loved ones. May the memory of Ben and all those lost, may their memory be a blessing.
That is how interconnected we are as families, as friends, and as a people. I have always known that we are family, but I've never felt it so strongly as I do now. Tonight, we are hurting. Our hearts are broken, but our resolve has never been stronger.
What Israel experienced this week, what we experienced, has been horrifying. The targeted slaughter of innocent civilians, the kidnapping of women, children, and elderly, the assault of young women, the swarming of bodies brought back to Gaza, and the dozens of little babies we learned about today. It was planned. It was methodical.
What we on young women. The swarming of bodies brought back to Gaza. Then it was our family, and we stand together.
Many of us have struggled to talk with our children and grandchildren about this, yet we want them to hear from us before they hear it on the schoolyard. There are resources on Jewish Federation's website that can help you. Many of us need to support ourselves, too. So thank the elected officials who stand alongside us. I want a member of Parliament.
I know that your heart is broken because the brutal... No? No, we're okay. I know. Broken because the brutal terrorist attack, targeted attack on the Israeli people. All of you have witnessed as a minister, but I'm also speaking to you as a Canadian. as a human being. It hurts so much through this. One thing that gives me hope is that I look back and remember where I live, in Canada, that we come together, we support one another. That's how we get through this. And I remember even visiting the captive community.
And are with all of you and indiscriminately wiping out the Jewish people. Babies, to the children. The pogroms in Russia is not the answer. It is not a path for peace for anyone. These last days have been so difficult, and to take care of each other.
Thank you, Minister Sajan and Minister Robinson. It is now my great privilege to introduce Marie Dodak. Marie is a Holocaust survivor. She was born in Brussels, Belgium. Marie immigrated to Canada in 1947 as a war orphan with 3 of her siblings and settled in Vancouver. Marie has received awards for her community leadership, work, and activism. She is actively involved in Holocaust education and is a co-founder of the Vancouver Holocaust Education Center. Please welcome Marie Dodak.
Well, I think the rain is going to stop for me. That would be very nice. I'm a child survivor of the Shoah, of the Holocaust. When I was a girl in Belgium, the youngest of 11 children, I was separated from my family. I lived in hiding for 5 years to survive. After the war, I lived in an group now with 30 other child survivors. We speak all the time in some way. We have been sharing our stories. For all the years we have been teaching tolerance. We know the worst that can happen and always happens. But, sorry. The paper is wet. It always seems to happen to us. I spend my life as an educator. I have shared my story and the stories of the Holocaust so that people will know. Now, this week, I see children being taken from their parents in Israel. I'm reliving what I experienced as a child. And it is horrible. I'm watching the news and hearing the sounds that were so terrifying when I was young. I see it all happen again. Women and men, like they want to destroy. They want to do what the Gestapo did to us in the Second World War. I went through as a child. And
see public representation of folks behind us and around, to the incredible dignitaries that have joined us today. I want to name them. I want to say that Parm Baines, MP for Stevenson Richmond East, the Honorable Brenda Bailey, the Honorable Murray Rankin, Sheila Malcolmson, George Chow, Mabel Elmore, Susie Chant, Henry Yao, Michael Lee, Councillor Sarah Kirby-Young, Kevin Falcon, Peter Meisner, Councillor Lee. It's just an incredible thing to see. Let's give them a round of applause. Let's show them how much we love them coming out for us. Let's let them feel the love. They're doing the right thing. It is now my privilege to introduce our next 2 speakers. The first, Kevin Falcon, the Leader of Opposition Thank you.
my friends, and I'm a colleague also from Vancouver, Michael Lee, for some together and denounced the right of this. And I canceled it and immediately started without it. And I also just want to very quickly say that the hurt runs deep, no deeper than the folks gathered here, because I know that many of you have family and friends, not to mention young Ben, but there are others, we know that, and all of you feel it in different ways that we can never fully appreciate or understand given the history. But just know that by being here, you make an important statement, and so do all the folks that are gathered up here with me. And I also want to say this to the police officer. I also have to say how sad it is that we have to live at a time where...
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. And I'm the Mayor of Vancouver. We have statements that come out under my name, but make no mistake about it, we are one united team, and so if something comes out for me, it's coming from... Oh, Councillor Rebecca Bly as well, sorry. I do want to acknowledge that we're hosting today's event on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh First Nations, and I do want to thank them for their generosity and their hospitality and And so that's a segue in what I'm going to sort of bring up next. It's what happened this weekend in Israel was absolutely horrific. Make no mistake about it.
So we're going to do this a different way. Anyways, look, our hearts are broken just like yours. And we can't even imagine what the family and the friends and the community is going through right now, the hurt and the suffering. So, yell. So Vancouver, is that a mic? No. Look, Vancouver is a city of love. Vancouver is a city of peace. Vancouver is a city of inclusion. And this is a place where we celebrate our differences in culture and religion. And this is a city, like we all grew up here, this is a city where we know that we can coexist in peace and harmony. And so it's absolutely disturbing and incredibly disgusting, in the city that we love and the city that we are so proud of, that people were actually celebrating what happened. And they're celebrating Hamas. And that's not right. Israel has a right to exist. Yeah! Israel has... Is that better? Great. Israel has a right to exist. Israel has a right to protect itself. All right. Look, at the City of Vancouver, we stand for all communities, including the Jewish community. Especially the Jewish community during this incredibly brutal time. Look, you are our brothers and sisters, you're our neighbors, you are our friends, you are our family. And let me be very clear. Let us be very, very clear. We will not stand for any anti-Semitic acts or acts of hatred in the city of Vancouver. With you, we stand with you, we love you, and we will always be here for you.
Thank you. So we're going to sing a song written by Israeli songwriter Ehud Manor in 1982 during the Lebanon War, which has since become an anthem for many Israeli groups. At its heart, it speaks of love of Israel, a love born out of pain and longing for peace in the face of hardship. Ein li eretz acheret. We have no other homeland. Israel is a part of who we are. It is our people's safe haven when we are fleeing persecution, our Jewish home, whether we were born there or not. And today we gather in solidarity with our siblings in Israel who are facing terrorism, violence, and hate. Ein li eretz acheret. I have no other homeland. We must not stay silent, and we must not give up.
אין לי ארץ אחרת, גם אם אדמתי בוערת, רק מילה בעברית חודרת, אלוקיי הם נשמתי, בגוף כואב, בלב רעב, כאן הוא ביתי. שינתה את פניה, לא אוותר להזכיר לה ואשיר כאן באוזניה עד שתפקח את עיניה.
I have no other country, even if my land is aflame. Just a word in Hebrew pierces my veins and my soul. With a painful body, with a hungry heart, there is my home. I will not stay silent because my country changed her face. I will not give up reminding her and sing in her ears until she will open her eyes. I have no other country until she will renew her glorious days, until she will open her eyes.
אין לי ארץ אחרת, גם אם אדמתי בוערת, רק מילה בעברית חודרת, אלוקיי הם נשמתי, בגוף כואב, בלב רעב, כאן הוא ביתי. לא אשתוק כי ארצי שינתה את פניה, לא אוותר להזכיר לה ואשיר כאן באוזניה עד שתפקח את עיניה. אין לי ארץ אחרת עד שתחדש ימיה, עד שתפקח את עיניה.
I am Rabbi Jonathan Infeld, Rabbi of Congregation Beth Israel, currently the head of Rav, the Rabbinical Assembly of Vancouver. And today I also am standing here as a neighbor of Ben Mizrachi and his family in sadness and in grief. I am standing here today as the father of a young man who is currently in Jerusalem. I am standing here today as the child of Holocaust survivors who never met his grandparents or aunts or uncles because they were murdered as children because of anti-Semitism. Never would I have imagined again in my life that we would see 40 children, 40 babies in one day discovered who were murdered in cold blood because of anti-Semitism. Never would I have imagined in my life that we would see almost 1,000 Jews in one day murdered because of anti-Semitism. Throughout the day, I've been asked, what is this moment about? This moment today, together as one people, one community, Jews and non-Jews, is gathered together for solidarity. Gathered together to mourn, and gathered together to give strength to one another. We are so grateful to our politicians and to our leaders who really, truly are leaders. All of you sitting here today, you are the leaders. You are sending the message that there is no similarity in morality. There is no equivalence in morality between those who celebrate murder and those who are gathered together for peace. We are so lucky as a Jewish community in Vancouver to be unified. The rabbis together as one, not just in difficult times, but at all times. And so I'd like to invite the rabbis of Vancouver to step forward to sing a song, Achinu, which speaks of our desire to bring back captives, to bring freedom, and to bring justice, Achinu, together with our siblings.
Achinu kol beis Yisroel, Achinu kol beis Yisroel, Anestuni Batzara Ubashivia, Ha'imdim bein Bayam ubein Bayam V'Hasham. Achinu kol beit Yisroel, Achinu kol beit Yisroel, Hanesunim Batzara Ubashivia, Ha'imdim bein Bayam ubein Bayam V'Hasham. Hamaka Yerachem, Yerachem Aleim, V'yotziem Mitzara, L'revacham, V'yafel Aliyah, Mishibudu L'geola Hashka, Bagala V'izman Karim, Hamaka Yerachem, Yerachem Aleim, Yotziem Mitzara, L'revacham, V'yafel Aliyah, Mishibudu L'geola Hashka, Bagala V'izman Karim.
My friends, our friends, my family, our family. I am humbled to be before you tonight and humbled to serve as the Vice Chair of the Jewish Federation of Greater Vancouver's board. I'm here in place of our board chair, Lana Marks-Pulver, who's now in Egypt, where she and her husband, Doug, are leading a group of local business leaders from outside of the Jewish community on what was to be the first of 2 back-to-back tours of Israel. Lana has asked me to share the following remarks she has prepared for you tonight. Lana writes, I write this speech from Egypt where my husband Doug and I are leading a group of members from our Young Presidents Organization BC chapter. We arranged this trip ahead of what was supposed to be 2 trips back-to-back in Israel with 47 and 50 people respectively, primarily non-Jewish business leaders. The reason we take so many people to Israel is to enable us to educate them and let them see the truth with their own eyes, away from persistent misinformation. They come away from this experience with a much better understanding of our people and a newfound love and respect for Israel. Those who have traveled with us in the past years have demonstrated incredible kindness, love, and support to our community during this difficult time. We are heartbroken that we are unable to take our 2 groups to Israel in the next couple of weeks, but rest assured, we will return as soon as we are able to ensure we can do so when everyone feels safe. Lana continues, I share this with you so you know how close I am to the situation, both physically and emotionally. There were 2 Israeli tourists murdered by a police officer in Alexandria. Control and continued on with our tour of Egypt, much to the chagrin of family and friends. We continued because we will not allow them to win. Never again. As for emotion, our 21-year-old niece and 19-year-old nephew are serving in the IDF and are stationed near Gaza. We're feeling sick about what's happening in Israel, and we are feeling sick about the celebratory rallies happening in Canada, rubbing salt in our fresh wounds. How can Canadian citizens possibly justify the celebration of rape, brutal killing, and kidnapping of innocent Jews online and in public rallies? It's both horrifying and heartbreaking that this is happening in our own backyard. Lana writes, Jews throughout history have consistently proven that we are resilient. This time is no different. Israel will prevail. We as a people will not allow evil to win. Despite thousands of years of anti-Semitism and countless attempts to annihilate our people, we always come back stronger and more unified as a community.
Yes!
I am confident that this time is no different. Lana writes that people are sending me an endless stream of texts and messages asking me what they can do. And at a time like this, being so far away from Israel, people are feeling they want to help in some way. Lana goes on. Federation has launched a full-scale Israel emergency campaign to help the people who so desperately need us. The full scope of the needs grows every day and is unprecedented. We're responding to address immediate needs, and we have the partners and staff on the ground to address medium and long-term needs, which will be significant when it is time to rebuild. Please consider supporting the victims and their families with a donation right now. Use the QR code on the postcards that are circulating, or visit jewishvancouver.com to give. Israelis right now are giving up their lives to protect our homeland. Let's show them how much we value the sacrifices they are making. Lana concludes, I wish I was physically present with you all tonight. Please know that I'm with you in spirit and stand united with you, all Jews in the diaspora, and everyone in Israel during this difficult time. Let us pray this all ends soon, that Israelis move forward with their lives in safety, and that we as a Jewish people proudly stand in our fight against hatred and our desire to live in peace. Am Yisrael Chai. Our friends, our family, let me just echo Lana's words as I stand before you, and next to me, Shai Keel, the chair of our annual campaign, to echo Lana's remarks at the end, that you please consider supporting the victims and their families with a donation tonight. Thank you, and to echo Lana again, Am Yisrael Chai.
Thank you, Jason, and thank you, Lana. While we are saddened that we need to be here, we are heartened that so many came out to support and show solid. Before we sing a tikva again, the hope, we have a few safety reminders for everyone.
Please, first I'd like to say,
We see a lot of Israeli flags out there. We also see a lot of flags from our friends in the Iranian Persian community. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you for coming out and being with us. I also want to say again, I made an observation yesterday. I was walking in for an interview. I think some of you have seen me on TV these days, wagging my finger at counter-protesters saying horrific things and supporting horrific things. One thing struck me. As I was walking in yesterday into TD Tower to do a conversation on radio, I happened to be there at the same time as the pro-Hamas rally. And I observed something. As people were leaving, they were making sure that their faces were covered by their keffiyehs so that we couldn't see who they were. I don't have my face covered. We don't have our face covered because we're right. Because we're standing up for the righteous things. And people who stand up for righteous things don't cover their faces. When you're leaving here, watch out for one another. Take care of one another. Care for one another. We want to make sure that you're safe. We want to make sure that you make it home all right. The Vancouver police who are here to keep you safe, and they are amazing, and I want to give them another round of applause. I said to the police when I came up to them, we love you every day, but we love you today even more for what you're doing for us. Now I want to welcome our cantors back. We're going to sing Hatikva one more time. We're going to sing it loudly. We're going to sing it proudly. Am Yisrael Chai.
Kol ad maleva lenima nefesh Yehudi homia ulfate Mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia, Olam Natikvateinu, Hatikva bat shnot apayim, liot am chofshi be'atzeinu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim, liot am chofshi be'atzeinu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael 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 Chai. Thank you all for coming. Get home safe.